Welcome once again to still another cannot miss 100% truth show here with your host, Sal Santori. And of course, as every week, I am your host and we are coast to coast. Welcome to our global greatest family of all time, listeners and viewers. And without you, we wouldn't have a show. So I thank you for your support. And I want to let you know your support is what is helping us to help our veterans and families. Um, we've been growing and we've been doing some really wonderful things. I have one heck of a show for you today. There is just so much going on right now, so much positive and so much advocacy going on for our veterans and families and first responders, EMTs, and folks like that. Um, I would actually need like a 2 hour show to really get to it. So I'm going to try and do my best in a condensed version. And as I promised, what I would like to do is kind of bring us up to speed on what we've been doing and where we're going in the future as far as both an outreach and our talk show to keep folks updated on what's going on with veterans and families, what's available, uh, what legislation may be out there being considered that folks need to know about, weigh in on, and make sure your vote counts. So let me kind of visit back to October, and we opened the Veterans and Family Outreach with a focus on Project Intervene, and we did that in the Lebanon Farmers Market, and we found success in the numbers of veterans and family members that we were in contact with, and realized that having a physical presence is important. There's just what I discovered is there's just really no replacing physical contact, human to human. So while the phone banks and things like that are definitely fit a purpose and are really efficient, there's still no price tag, I guess you would say, to put on the comfort and warmth of being able to interact and know you're talking to somebody who cares, who can empathize, who's been there, uh, and hopefully can shed some light, offer some hope and encouragement. So we had the intervene project intervene outreach there in the farmers market until March of this year, and we pulled out. Our time there was done, and through the new ownership and things, it wasn't for us to remain. So what we're doing now is we are in contact and negotiations with some great folks that have a very suitable property here in Palmyra, Pennsylvania. So we've already talked with them about what we want to do, and they're on board, very supportive. So we'll be getting that up and running in the very near future. One of the other things that we're working on that we're going to need a lot of support with is we are purchasing and decaling a mobile unit and pull vehicle. And the mobile unit is a 10 foot, 12 or 13 foot, I'm sorry, camper pull along trailer. And that is for sale by another one of our wonderful family members. And she thought it would be perfect for our purposes. And I happen to agree. Um, the only thing I can't talk her into is like, just make a donation. Yeah, I guess some things are just a little beyond like reasonable, right? But thank you for considering us and deeming us worthy to want to keep that in the family, so to speak. So we are working to acquire that and a Jeep to pull it. And as I say, we'll need to get both of those lettered and decaled. And we seem to have some resources to have that done. Our mission at the moment is acquisition. So we're looking to do some fundraising, and I know there are grants available that would qualify for as a nonprofit. Of course, the Kazarn Community and Veterans Outreach is a bona fide 501c3, which is a tax exempt organization and nonprofit. And there are, as I said, grants that we do qualify for. The issue is um, our need at this point is an experienced grant writer, someone who can say, hey, I know the best way to do this. I've done it, and let me help you do one or two and get you going. That is what we need. So if some of our viewers and listeners are either in that position or may know of someone, by all means, definitely get a hold of us. And I want to point out on today's show and going forward, we will be doing interactive live shows where I will be able to reply, excuse me, to comments and questions that you make during the show. So feel free to go ahead and do the comments and questions. Excuse me just a minute. I'm like way parched. Thank you. Um, so by all means, please, send in questions, send in comments, and I will get to them during the show. Um, so one of the folks, we have had such an incredible year. Um, there have been several times where I've had lemons forced my way. Okay, the bottom line is, yeah, forced my way, and it's like, okay, let's see what you do about it. And I'm quite proud of myself. I maintained very well, and ultimately took those lemons and turned them into lemonade. The proverbial take the lemons and make lemonade, and we were very successful in each instance in doing that. And that just kind of like bolstered my faith that this is definitely a guided and led operation that we're doing here. Our mission is not like just a conceived one. Um, it's more like ordained. So I am convinced of that. And to further verify that, as you will, there have been some folks that have come into our family. Uh, Perfect timing, a win-win all the way around. We're able to help them with certain missions, and at the same time, we're able to accomplish missions that otherwise would not be achievable. I'm talking about great guys and ladies such as Adam Hummel, who is the owner of A1 Hauling. Adam was a huge supporter during our tenure. I like that word, tenure, uh, at the Lebanon Farmers Market. Adam, thank you. You helped us navigate a bridge that otherwise we would not have been able to do. And you're just a great guy. I love your attitude towards life, and obviously success will be following you, and you wear it quite well. So I wish you and your wife and the folks that work with you, and I think Jordan may be over there visiting on work days. So we want to wish him success as well as part of your team and always part of our family. You all are. That never changes. So thank you, Jordan, for your help during the Lebanon Farmers Market era. And I want to now talk about Shay's vending service. Incredible. Incredible. I didn't even get to tell Willie Shea about this yet. Um, about 12 years ago, I was starting out working at WWSM, country radio station on AM, and I was asked to sell advertising, the sponsorships. uh, which I did. And one of the folks I called on was Shay's Vending, uh, who said to me, "Great, let's get together and visit." And I honestly can't remember why we did not get together, but I know they were one of the folks that I called on and had a very positive response. So I guess my point is here. Um, Shay's Vending, which goes back to 1938, if I'm correct, has always had a heart for the community. It's never been, what can we get? What can we take? Hurrah for us. Um, Even for strangers, like they didn't know me. All they knew was I was looking to start a veterans show on the AM station and looking for sponsors, and they were willing to say, "Hey, let's sit down and talk," you know, which was huge. You get 50 not interested, but they can't even tell you what they're not interested in until you have someone who says, "Hey, let's sit down and talk. I'd like to hear your idea." And that's the kind of folks they are over at Shay's Vending. So what I want to let you know is consider Shay's and find out how they pay through their machines. Yeah, and it's a definite win-win. They don't come in and empty the cash box and say, "See you next Wednesday, Louie, and make sure you don't touch it." That's not how they operate. They're really great guys. Willie and his father, Bill, have been working with the folks in Lebanon ever since they inherited the company from the original founders, the original family members. So these are folks who are well known in the community, have been here as pillars forever, and have always, always, always worked to improve the community, sponsoring baseball teams, t-ball teams, uh, softball teams, kids, individuals. I was over to visit with Willie last week. Pardon me again, and he was showing me some of the trophies and things that they had on display, and telling me about the stories behind these people, these athletes who succeeded, who won gold medals in the Olympics, who won state championships in school. And Willie's telling me, how these folks, what their stories were. They weren't just these kids that the school said, "Hey, would you mind throwing us a couple of bucks?" And Willie and his father said, "Well, sure." No, they took an active interest in these kids and decided, yeah, they have the ability. Let's go ahead and help. So again, this just points to the heart and soul of the guys and the family members. I got to meet Willie's sister there as well the other day, and just a happy, gregarious, wonderful person who's like, uh, how would you say, at face value. There's nothing. She's at face value. Who you see, who you speak to, is really who she is. So again, it was a great pleasure meeting you. Um, the other one of our other great community sponsors, community partners rather, is Matt, who is the owner of Cleona Coffee Roasters, located in the 9/11 complex over in Anvil. And Matt is a veteran. Matt has a great story as well. He has a passion for coffee, and he is still either National Guard or on reserve duty. I apologize. I'm not exactly sure which, um, but he is still on duty with the military, and decided to begin roasting his own coffee beans. Well, this has grown because of his care and his diligent efforts, um, and treating it as a passion. This has grown now to where his coffee is everywhere. And in fact, the coffee that we have available, Vets Brew, is roasted by Matt over at the Cleona Coffee Roasters. And the Vets Brew is to support Project Intervene. The cost of a 12-ounce bag is $12. We also have K-Cups. We have whole bean as well. And if you're a restaurant and you would like to buy like 5 pounds at a time or 3 or what have you, we can do that. We have that capability. So give us a call, 717-455-7086, and reach out and let us know um, you would like to support Project Intervene by having some Vets Brew coffee. And we also have our sheepskin inventory, and we have sheepskin covers. We have uh, motorcycle seat covers. We have gloves, which obviously are out of season, but we do have other sheepskin items, which are great not only for winter, but when you're talking about keeping a motorcycle seat cool in the summer, they get extremely hot sitting out in the sun. So when you get on it, you may find it a little sensitive, to say the least. So I would really suggest looking into getting some bike sheepskin covers, and we have those available. You can find those on our website, and I will be putting that up here in just a minute. Uh, but I also want to thank Matt for everything he's doing as far as helping veterans and families. He's all over the place, uh, with promoting different organizations as well. And, we just had a fantastic event. It was a fundraiser with Kaufman's Barbecued Chicken out of Bethel, Pennsylvania. I can't say enough marvelous things about the folks there at Kaufman's. Jen and her brother Kyle are the proprietors. And believe me when I tell you, they are the owner operators. These guys work hard. They work hard. They have hours invested even before they bring the trailer out to open the doors. Uh, you're talking about getting the chickens, preparing the chickens, loading them on the spit, getting them into the fire, into their cookers, their smokers, roasters. These are things that are not light duty activities, and they don't just happen. Somebody else doesn't do it, and magically, voila, we throw the doors open, and guess what? No, it doesn't work that way. And I watched these guys, and you know, they're beautiful. They're beautiful. They have it down to a science, and it's almost like they've been doing this to such a perfection. It's like watching them do a dance. They know each other's uh, needs, and are prepared. It's not like, hey, I need this, or can you do this? It's like, nah. They both have their thing. They do it well. They're very precise, very clean. Um, and the flavor of the chicken, it speaks for itself. There's nothing that needs to be said there. But these folks will be doing some more uh, fundraisers this summer. So we definitely need you to follow us on Facebook, and I'll be putting out in the events some of the things that we have coming up. We have on the 11th of June, we will be at another community partners place of business, Hardee's in Myerstown, Pennsylvania. Hardee's is doing a marvelous, beautiful fundraiser for veterans organizations. There is a Heroes event there to support an organization that supports our heroes, our veterans and families. And they've also partnered with the KZERN Community and Veterans Outreach and Project Intervene to support us, to help us in what we do. And we'll be talking a little bit more about what it is we do here in just a minute. But make sure to have plans to come out to Hardee's on Main Street in Myerstown. That's on the 11th from 5 to 8:30. There'll be a car show with another one of our wonderful family members, the Pharaoh's Car Club of Lebanon. So, this is beautiful. Every week I talk about welcoming new members into the family. Uh, and I haven't missed a week. I have not missed a week. It's like this thing is so amazing. Um, and I get to like talk about it. But we have like amazing family members like the Pharaoh's Car Club of Lebanon. Uh, they will be there. In fact, they're the folks that introduced me to the wonderful manager over at Hardee's, and we got to talking and understanding, their heart for veterans and what they do, and that seemed like um, a no-brainer, to get together and partner and do this. And it's amazing the people that you meet at events like this. So I encourage you all to come on out, visit with us. We will be out there um, with our Project Intervene from the Kazern Community and Veterans Outreach. And I will also be broadcasting a live show during this event. So come on out, say hi. If you're not camera shy, we can sit down and, have a little visit live on the camera and say hi to folks out in viewerland, as it were. Uh, so thank you over there at Hardee's and Matt Kaufman's Barbecue. And I want to tell you, I'm going to come right back here to Kaufman's Barbecue. We made um, like 210 chickens for the day. And it was amazing. It was amazing. The sad part is I didn't get enough time to really promote it properly. So there wasn't a lot of pre-sale happening with folks that knew about it and bought tickets in advance, which of course we'll perfect things as we go. But the reputation that Kaufman's has as far as quality and delivery, everything about them is so great that folks saw it. We did post some on Facebook, and folks saw that. I had some folks stop by and say, "Hey, we saw it on Facebook, so here we are," which is great. But we sold over 200 chickens that day. And I have to tell you this, not only was it beautiful that it happened, but the next level is the fact that 100 of these chickens were bought by Shay's Bending, Willie Shay, okay, donated the money for 100 chickens, which in turn were picked up by the folks over at the Palmyra VFW on Main Street, who then took them out to our troops at Fort Indiantown Gap and gave 100 soldiers a beautiful chicken and baked potato dinner. I mean, come on. I'm lost for I'm lost for words, honestly. You might dream of something like that happen, and you might say, "Hey, that would really be nice, if somebody did that." And we think, well, somebody else might do that. And here it is. We have within our family, we have great partners, great community partners, great folks that have the ability to help others financially. Okay. We have people who are able to produce a wonderful meal that is not just fantastic to the palate, but healthy. Okay. We're not pushing candy and carbs. you know, we're not offering that. Then we have a supporting outfit, the VFW, who supports our veterans, families, and active duty soldiers. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. It really doesn't. So what I'm leading to is we are so happy to be able to support those who support our troops, veterans and families, first responders, firefighters, EMTs. We're in a position to help support those who support them only because of our family. That's the only reason. So I cannot encourage you, my global greatest of all time viewers and listeners, to please continue to support us so we can continue to support them. Uh, we definitely need you to continue. And as I said, we're putting together the mobile unit so that we can take Project Intervene out and on the road and let folks know what our mission is. Our whole mission is through education and resources rather, to let folks know um, what to look for and how to understand what you're seeing, and the fact that suicide is a process and not a single stage event. So once you're becoming aware of what you're seeing and understanding it, the next question is, what do I do? And that's the second half of our education. We teach you what to do, how to begin to put together a safe intervention team and do a safe intervention and make a difference in the veterans or family members or first responders' life, and bring them back, help them come back, give them hope and give them a reason to want to come back from that brink. And the biggest testament to success, the testimony that I see, is when people are in a position where they say, hey, I was that guy. I was that girl. I was that sailor. I was that airman. I was that nurse. You know what? Now I'm here to help them come back from the abyss. So that's what Project Intervene's all about. So we don't need just financial support. That's a fact of life. We also need volunteers. We need people to help us help our supporters. So by all means, get in touch with us. I'm going to go ahead and put the website on. Um, there you go. I think, yeah, I clicked the website on so we can see that. And I'm going to go back to some more of our fantastic news. Um, this is unreal. This is unreal. This is only 6 months of like testimony that I'm giving you right now. Uh, I want to talk about another one of our community partners, and that's 40 Radiator and Auto Shop, complete automotive repair. Roland is located in Palmyra, actually 51 South Mark Street in Palmyra, PA. And their phone number is 717-838-5131. Again, that number is 717-838-5131. Give them a call. Give Roland and the guys over there a call with any issues or questions or needs you have. And I would say, especially with later model cars, that we have a lot of value, and some of this is still made of metal cars, and there are fewer and fewer folks that are really good at working on them, understand them, and really have a good appreciation for them. So Roland is one of those guys. Um, you'll get an honest assessment. You'll get a very fair price. So I would say give Roland a call and make an appointment to go over and visit with him. You're going to be glad you did. Trust me. Um, I am, yeah, I got to tell you, I am super, super blown away by our next uh, newest family member. I'll tell you what, I lived in San Antonio for about 8 years, and I was a Longhorn fan. Uh, been up to UT in Austin, and Texas is a great place to be, man. Great people, uh, wonderful. And don't you know, I just happened to have the beautiful fortune of coming in contact with some folks on the Longhorn softball team. No lie. No lie. Thank God this show is called 100% Truth, because it is. Vanessa and team, I want to tell you, this is great. We've agreed to become each other's fan club members, the whole team down there in Texas, and they are now fans of 100% Truth. And they have a game today. Their game started at 2. So I told them we'd definitely be pulling, and we're going to be following them all season, and just give updates and hey, cheer them on, man. Cheer them on. There's so much pain in the world. Let's celebrate some folks that are doing something great, which brings me to another wonderful, brand new family member right out of Erie, Pennsylvania. And Becky, I know you're listening, and so I wanted to shout out and say hi to you up there in Erie, and let you know we're going to be bringing the show up there again. We were up in Erie for a couple of days a couple of years ago, and Erie is so awesome. We're up there in the summer, and I believe it's 7 beaches, 6 or 7 beaches they have up there, and they're just fantastic. They're kind of like almost, well, private beaches, but big, So it's just an amazing place to be. And Lake Erie is fantastic. It's like being at the beach, for real. And you're like, well, yeah, where do you think you are? Well, yeah, okay, you got me there. Once again, call me Captain Obvious, okay? Hey, I have some more fantastic news. Just when you thought I was out of good news, right? Nah, nah. Today I really am Captain Obvious. I have some more good news for us. We are going to be going back on terrestrial radio. Not long ago, I was on WLBR, and guess what? We're going back on WLBR, 1210 AM radio. It will be on Sunday mornings at 7:30 for a half-hour show, and I'm not exactly sure of the start date yet. That is to be determined. It will be within the next 2 weeks, I am led to believe. Uh, if not, I will let you know. But WLBR 1210 Sunday mornings at 7:30. So there you have it. If you don't catch the show there or here, you can always catch us on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/ at Sal Santori 2880. And as of today, I am told by our happy engineer, he's happy because I didn't fire him. So, yeah, our happy engineer tells me that we are streaming live on Instagram as we speak. So, some folks are probably already watching us live on Instagram. Let me go back over here and flip to see. Okay, we want to see if we got some messages going on. And hey, you're welcome. You're very welcome. Jim down in Baltimore. Yes, we had been talking about doing some stuff down in Baltimore, and Mayor Scott down there is a great guy. And what I need to do is to schedule some more meetings with him and his staff. There's a great um, veteran population down there, and we definitely want to get down there and do a lot of work and make a difference in Baltimore. Right now, I think our focus is here. But Jim, I'm glad you're part of the family, and definitely maybe there's something you can do down there that we can support. All right. Hey, have a great day, and thanks for your question. The Navy Club, the Navy Club in on Lehman Street in Lebanon, Pennsylvania. Um, Great place. Great place. I want to tell you, we did some events last year there for Congressman Muser, and it really went well. And it's a nice, a very big place. They have a great dining area. Their bar side is large as well, and the people are fantastic. I want to give a shout out to Danny and his wife. His wife is the manager over there, and Danny is the chef. I want to tell you something. This guy does nothing short of fantastic. He puts his whole heart into what he's doing. Uh, his presentation, the food itself. Thank you. The food itself, everything he does is from the heart. Yeah, there's nothing that Danny's doing over there that is like taking a shortcut. So we want to say thank you, Danny, for everything you're doing over there. Uh, what we're going to do is we are going to wind the show down and thank everybody for tuning in, for listening. And we'll be talking some more about Senate Bill 756 and what effect it's having on our clubs, which in return affects our communities, affects our veterans, affects our families, affects social programs, affects everything from top to bottom. And there's something, before we close, there's something that I really want to read because I found it so very interesting. This was in Lebtown. And for those of you who don't know, Lebtown is a publication in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, sponsored by ClearPoint Communications. And here there is a letter to the editor. Okay. And it says to the editor, I am writing to respond to the recent post. Lebanon County veterans deserve our support, not a devastating tax. Okay. Over the next several months, we expect to hear histrionics about how taxing skill games will devastate local businesses. Nothing could be further from the truth. Sensible regulation and taxation will benefit. I don't know. That word taxation, I have a problem with that right there. Okay. Sensible regulation and taxation will benefit clubs and non-profits with less competition. So you're going to wipe some people out. Is that less competition? Okay. All right. I'm just, reading your words here. Better quality of product. I guess less money to make a better quality product. Okay. I get that too, right? You're funny. And a safer, stable operating environment. How are the two related? I really don't get that either. But okay, so it's your lie. You can tell it. So while the opinion piece claims that the tax and regulation of skill games under SB 756 will be devastating, it fails to recognize that some significant economic benefits that will accrue due to the VFWs and American Legion posts, which will likely result in them making more money after taxes, not less money. Well, okay, let's look at that for just a second. Let's say I'm just a guy out of high school. Maybe I have an 11th grade education. Let's just play the devil's advocate here. And we'll say, yeah, I'm a guy with an 11th grade education. And now somehow you want to tell me I'm making more money after taxes. My understanding of taxes is it's taking money out of the gross, which becomes a net after taxes. So I'm not sure where the more money after taxes manifests. And I'm challenging you to help me understand that. I'd really like you to come on the show and not be anonymous with a letter to the editor, but contact me, please. And let's be gentlemen. Maybe I really am not seeing a valid point here, and I would be grateful for you to show me this, to help me understand. So our viewers and listeners can go, have an aha moment and get it. Okay. So feel free, please contact me. Let's by all means visit and help me see the light here. Then it goes on to say SB 756 significantly limits the number of locations that can have skill games while providing a tax regulatory structure that is still significantly less than casinos currently pay 35% versus 54% on slot machine revenues. Okay, I'm going to come back to that in a second. The idea that paying taxes on gambling is devastating has been proven false again and again by casinos and VGTSs at truck stops operating successfully at much higher tax levels than are proposed in SB 756. Wow. So, okay, so we're cutting down. The goal here is to cut down the number of locations that can have skill games. And one of the mainstays of having the skill games is it is what's keeping their doors open and keeping these clubs able to support our veterans and families, fire equipment, trucks, uniforms, Babe Ruth League, Legion Baseball, things like that. So we're going to decrease the number of these clubs because we're going to take away the number that are going to be authorized to have machines. And this is somehow going to benefit the community, our veterans and families. How? I don't even care what the tax rate is. How is reducing the number of clubs going to benefit anybody other than those who wish to control? Okay, another one I would like to have explained to me. And basically, even though you're saying 35% is less than 54%, well, you know what? By reducing the number of clubs like you're talking about, it makes the tax number, the percentage, irrelevant. It really does. So it doesn't matter. You could tax at 80%. Who cares? The clubs are going to go away. So you're going to be left with nothing. So more importantly, right now, VFWs and American Legion Posts are competing. Oh, good Lord. Are competing against thousands of illegal slot machines that are operating under the guise of skill games. In fact, Pennsylvania Attorney General Sunday, now Attorney General Dave Sunday, you are on my friend list. We know each other well. Please let me know that this is valid. Recently seized over 400 illegal games, and there are thousands more like them across the Commonwealth. These sounds like illegal aliens. These illegal machines are everywhere. Well, let's send them back to El Salvador, huh? By some counts, there are upwards of 100,000 games operating without any tax or regulation in the Commonwealth, and many casinos have sprung up in communities across our state. And the problem here is, gentlemen, I got it. Without any tax or regulation. Well, without any tax means you're not getting a cut. You're not, getting your chunk of the money here. So of course that's problematic. If they were small and nobody really cared, you wouldn't mind. But now that they seem significant, well, now it's time to say, gee, we need to get in there and we need to tax and regulate them. Yeah, okay. And the bill here, oh, no, wait a second. These games, you guys really are funny, man. I'm getting an idea of who wrote this. These games compete with the clubs and nonprofits for limited leisure spending. Limited leisure spending. Is that an oxymoron? limited leisure spending. It's like, here's $5, Johnny. Go down to the store and at your leisure, get some popcorn and candy. It's an oxymoron. Uh, wow. You can tell I'm kind of a little old in my use of like a $5 and talking about popcorn and candy. But the principle applies. Um, Limited leisure spending. Good God, man. This bill would end those mini casinos as well as remove games from many of the locations where children can easily access them. Yeah, I kind of like that part because last month I was over at VFW, and there was a whole bunch of kids in there for recess, and their teacher was saying, "Now see, look, children, here's how you play the machine." Come on, really? Really? Kids can easily access them. All right, so we know you're funny. Um, by reducing the number, well, let's double check that kids can easily access them. How do you get into a VFW or Legion or AMVETS without a membership card? What do you have to do? Ring the bell. Yeah. So if you're telling me you got a group of kids ringing the bell and the bartender, bar manager, who's ever there, hits the buzzer and says, "Come on in, kids." Really? All right, come on. All right, let me get on with this fairy tale here. Um, by reducing the number of games available from 100,000, oh my God, to 35,000, a 65% decline in the number of games, those operators who follow state law will be operating legal and licensed machines. It is a basic supply and demand that we all learned in economics. Really? Can you say communism? The VFWs and American Legions should see a significant increase in the demand for their legal and regulated games, which will drive the win per machine higher, even after considering, Christmas, a 35 to 40% tax rate on revenues. The casinos currently pay 54. Well, that's great. We're not casinos. We don't compete with casinos. We don't care about casinos. The increase in demand and win per machine increases should be more than an offset to taxes. Okay, so you're talking about the win per machine. That is a payout for the club. That is not a revenue for the club. So you know what happens when a club pays out, pays out, pays out? They go dry. Guess what that means? They close. So now what? All these 35,000 clubs end up closing. So where is your anticipation for our folks to go? The casinos. I should have known. That's incredible. What a great plan. No one would have figured that out. No one could figure that out. You guys are just brilliant. I don't know how you did that, but I'm telling you, you just had me fooled. Great, brilliant plan. Pennsylvania currently has the largest number of untaxed and unregulated gaming machines in operation in any state in the USA. They are magnets, magnets for crime and money laundering and underage compulsive gambling. No, my friend, that used to be Vegas and Atlantic City and Miami, Chicago. That's not, no. Magnets for crime. Yeah, hey buddy, I can't even come up with one for that. That's too ridiculous. It's time for the Commonwealth to enact, and okay, here it is. It is time for the Commonwealth to enact sensible regulation, taxation, and limits on these games similar to every other state in which they operate. Let's not let histrionics get in the way of sensible regulation, taxation, and basic economics. Now, this has a footnote. Pete Shelley is a Harrisburg based consultant to Parks Casino. Okay. Well, Pete Shelley, I would like you to come on the show so we can talk about this. And as I said, do so as gentlemen. I may have been a little elaborate here on the show to get my points across, but I really invite you. We can sit down and we can discuss this because, you know, I'm going to reach out to your patriotism, Pete, along with the authors of Senate Bill 756, along with any supporters that they have garnered on this bill. And I would like you to seriously consider the people that are being affected. And these are the same people that have put their lives on the line, who have done things you can never even imagine, um, and have come back. We just went through Memorial Day to honor those that did not come back. And you're talking about their families, okay? You're talking about affecting the families of those who did come back. You're talking about the families and the people who are currently serving to make sure that we all get to live the lifestyle we're living, okay? We all enjoy our freedoms. We all can go where it is we want, when it is we want, without very much interference. I'm just replying right now to someone. We can go where we want, when we want, without very much interference. Um, Certainly, things are a little less relaxed currently in the current environment. We have a lot to undo with regards to the past administration. But guys, what I'm trying to get at, and ladies in the Senate, what I'm trying to get at is let's sit down and let's revisit this. Okay, I'm not saying that there should not be a win-win for everyone. If there's something that you can enhance um, through taxing, okay, if that's your way to derive the revenues, which that's fine. You know, you're not able to hold a fundraiser and say we're going to have this fundraiser to support the Palmyra VFW. So if there are some things that we can get together and sit down and visit and really take a good look at um, and say, okay, here is how we can benefit our veterans and our families and the clubs, okay, so that they're there for perpetuity. I know I misspelled that word. Like I said, I'm talking from a guy with 11th grade education. Perpetuity, maybe. Yeah. But let's get together. Let's have your side sit down and visit with the people that are being affected by this regulation, by this proposal, and let's find some type of middle ground. Um, okay? Let's get together and make it a win win, not a fight, not a battle. It doesn't have to be. There's enough there for everybody. And there is no way on God's green earth, Pete or anybody else, can tell me or anyone, any other reasonable person, that the skill machines are affecting the revenues of the casinos. You're talking billions, trillions versus millions, perhaps, across the state, not billions and trillions. There's no, you're talking lemons before I make lemonade. You know what I mean? It's that far apart. So, really, I'm asking on behalf of all my brothers and sisters who are in arms, who have ever been at arms, and for their families and our families, let's sit down and let's come to the table and let's visit and find a reasonable, mutually beneficial, and satisfactory solution that we can put to the table and at least have 90% of the people happy. We're never going to get everyone happy all the time, given, but let's at least take a step in the right direction so we can help those who have given their all and are prepared to give their all to help us so we can live in freedom. This is Sal Santori saying thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.